and the subject of my PhD was the analysis of handwriting with a digital tablet on using artificial intelligence. So at the beginning, like we were wondering, what are the tests that are used by the therapists to detect handwriting difficulties? On the most famous tests in French-speaking countries, and apparently in Italy as well, is the BHK test. I think you all know how it works, but just to give you a quick update, the child is going to write on a blank sheet of paper a text for 5 minutes. And at the end of these 5 minutes, the therapist will evaluate the text on different criteria. For example, the space between the word, if the handwriting is tilted, if there is some shakiness, etc., etc. And according to the score, the age and the gender of the child will be diagnosed as dysgraphic or not dysgraphic. And there are several limitations with this test. First, it's subjective. So we did a test in an hospital in Paris where we asked different therapists to score the same test. And we saw that they agree in only 60% of the time. So there is a part of subjectivity in this text. Second, it's time consuming because you need 5 minutes for the child to write the text and then 15 minutes to evaluate it. So 20 minutes in average, in total, meaning that you cannot repeat the test frequently, for example, once per session with the child. And therefore, you cannot follow the child's evolution through time on a weekly basis, for example. And last point, and it's the link with the technology that we are developing. Since the test is done on paper, you only have access to the final static information. It's like you have a photography of handwriting and you are losing all the dynamic of handwriting. So all the important information such as the speed, the acceleration, the pressure, the tilt, all this information, they are not used for the moment. So that's why we decided to move the test from paper to an iPad like this one. With the Apple Pencil, you can measure the XY coordinate of the pen, the pressure between the pen and the tablet, as well as the angle on that 240 times per second. So you have a lot of information that we are going to use to analyze handwriting. For the moment, these information are raw, so meaning that they are not interpretable by a human. So that's why we work with therapy to transfer that into handwriting features. So what is an handwriting feature? Actually, we have 4 different categories of these features. First, static aspect of handwriting, static features. So here we didn't invent anything. For example, it's if the handwriting is tilted or not, the space between the word, the handwriting density. For example, we have the same items as the BHK test. This feature can also be in link with the speed. For example, here you have Dynamilis that is written twice, on the left by one child with handwriting difficulty, sorry, and on the right by one child without handwriting difficulty. And the color referred to the acceleration when the point was registered. So red means high acceleration, blue means low acceleration. And you can directly see that the child with handwriting difficulty, so the example on the left, the transition between high acceleration and low acceleration is not smooth at all like the example on the right. So there is a lot of saccade that show a bad control of the pen. And this information, they are super important. We show that in all of our research, but we can only extract them through the tablet because they measure the dynamic of handwriting. We also have some information about the pressure. So here, like same story, but the color referred to the pressure when the point was registered, on the tilt of the pen. So we have all these 4 categories relating to features. So to summarize, the child write the test on a tablet, like here. We extract the raw data. We transform that into handwriting features that are regrouped in 4 different categories: static aspect, kinematic aspect, pressure, and tilt. And here we are going to use artificial intelligence to transform these 100 handwriting features into 3. And these 3 are a summary of this 100 handwriting feature, but they are ponderated by the importance of this feature. So meaning that the features that are very important are going to appear more than the features that are less important in these 3 super handwriting features. So last slide on that, to summarize, the child writes on the tablet. We extract the raw data, so the coordinate of the pen, the pressure, the tilt, 240 times a second. We transform that into handwriting features. We give that to our artificial intelligence that transform that into 3 super handwriting features. And of course, since it's a free coordinate, we can show that in a 3D plane, like the example on the right. For example, this point is projected here. We do that for another child. So he writes, we extract the raw data, we transform that to handwriting features, we give that to our artificial intelligence, we get another coordinate here. We do that with more than 10,000 children. So we have more than 10,000 children in our database for the moment. And we get a cloud of points that you can see in the screen. And what is interesting with this cloud of points is that there is region of this cloud that are more dense than the other. And if we think the dense region is a region where a lot of points has been projected. So the region of higher density should represent a typical handwriting. And to compute the score, we are just going to see the distance with this region of high density. So if the child is projected close from this region of high density, it means that like he writes like the other one, so the score will be high. But if he's projected far from this point of high density, his handwriting is very different of what is expected, and the score will be low. So it's how the scoring works right now. And what is interesting is that we can ask to our artificial intelligence, what are the handwriting features that you use to analyze the handwriting? And in this table, I showed you the 10 most important handwriting features. So the name of the handwriting feature is not important. What is important is the category on the right. And you can see that in the top 10 of the most important feature, only one feature is static. It means that only one of these 10 features could be potentially extracted on paper. All the other one, you need the handwriting dynamic, and for that, you need the tablet. So it shows that like the handwriting dynamic is super important to analyze handwriting. So concretely, how it works in our test, I'm going to show you just after, but just to have a quick look. The child has to do 2 things. First, draw a cat, and then copy a small text. So here it's in French, but like we have 4 languages for the moment: French, German, Italian, and English. And we need actually 30 seconds of handwriting. So the child needs to write at least 30 seconds. So for example, if the text is too complicated for one child, he just needs to write 30 seconds. So for example, if he writes his name for 30 seconds, we have enough data to analyze handwriting. So here I click on the button, then there is like 5 to 10 seconds of computation where we compute the score. And then we get all these scores. So we have the global score from 0 to 100. 0 is very bad handwriting, 100 is very good handwriting. But we also have the handwriting profile of the child. So a score on the static aspect, a score on the speed, a score on the pressure, a score on the tilt, as well as lower handwriting feature. For example, you have the points to improve. And we are going to recommend activities for the child to work on his needs. So since we only need 30 seconds of handwriting, what is good is that we can repeat this test frequently and therefore follow the progress of the child on a weekly basis. You can also objectively measure some aspects of handwriting that are impossible to measure on paper, for example, the pressure, the tilt. You can have a better comprehension of the child on different aspects, but this tool is only measuring some motor aspect of handwriting. So for example, the psychological aspect of the child, if he slept well, the relationship with the parents, all these aspects, we don't measure it. So what we propose to the therapist is only a tool to measure the motor aspect of handwriting. Also, what is interesting is if we ask two children to write a text, for example, we have Patrick and Julie. The 2 children can have the same global score. For example, they are both dysgraphic, but their handwriting profile can be very different. So Patrick here is dysgraphic because he has a problem with the pressure on the tilt aspect of handwriting, while Julie is also dysgraphic, but she doesn't have any problem with the pressure. She rather have problem with the tilt on the static aspect. So here it showed that proposing the same remediation to these two children might not be the best idea. And it's exactly the transition with the second thing that we are doing in Dynamilis. We co-develop with more than 50 handwriting specialists, so 50 therapists, different activities that are very ludic. On each activity, target one specific aspect of handwriting. So here I'm going to show you just after, but for example, we have one activity that targets the control of the pressure, another one that targets the precision, another one that targets the pen lift during handwriting, etc., etc. On this activity are recommended in function of the analysis. So this remediation tool, it's a great way, since we propose some games to children, it's a very nice way to motivate them. So we have a lot of therapists that tell us that, oh, my child has handwriting difficulties, so he wouldn't like to write on paper, but giving him a tablet with games, like it's a super nice way to push them back into handwriting. It's also super useful to teach handwriting aspects that are impossible to train on paper. Again, the pressure, the tilt. And also it's a nice way to recommend the app to the parents, so the children can continue the remediation in between sessions at home. And once again, Dynamilis is a tool that is complementary to the tool that the therapists already have. So it's not going to replace the therapist, but it's only going to be used, for example, 15 minutes in one session for some particular kids. And now I can show you on live how it works with my iPad.
Est-ce que pendant que tu fais les choses techniques, je peux te poser une question qui est arrivée? Je la pose en français,
oui, bien sûr.
Et après je réponds en italien. Il y a Gaia qui pose la question si le texte il doit être copié en cursive ou bien si l'enfant peut choisir le font qu'il préfère.
Il peut choisir la police qu'il préfère, ça ne change pas.
Può scegliere il font che preferisce, il carattere che preferisce perché analizza dei criteri cinematici e non legati al font. Anche il disegno, per esempio, visto che non c'eri prima, anche il disegno viene analizzato come la scrittura in realtà, ritrovi gli stessi parametri per il disegno e la scrittura, quindi se un bambino non sa ancora scrivere, può anche solo disegnare il gatto. Voilà, j'ai profité pour rajouter que les enfants peuvent aussi seulement dessiner le chat s'ils ne savent pas encore écrire.
Ah, parfait. So do you see my iPad right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay, perfect. So the first thing that we need to do when we log in the app is to create a child. So for that, we need some few information. So the name or the nickname, of course, everything is anonymized in our side. We need to know if the child is a boy or a girl, right-handed, left-handed, and the birth date. And we need all this information because, of course, handwriting evolves with age. So we need this information in order to score the handwriting. Country, language, here I put Switzerland and Italian, and the handwriting font. So here, like, you can change the font. We have 16 handwriting fonts for the moment. On the Italia Corsivo, we co-developed it with Lieta. So once it's done, I have two choices, analysis and activities. So here I'm going to do new analysis. So there are two different steps. First one is to draw the cat. So here again, when the pen is detected, all the touch that are coming from the end are ignored. So I can really put my hand on the tablet like I will do on paper. Draw the cat quickly. Tac, tac. And then I need to copy this small text. On here, I need only 30 seconds of handwriting minimum in order to have some accurate result. So I'm not going to do it. And then you click on the green button. You wait 5 to 10 seconds, and then you are going to get the handwriting score for your analysis. So here I don't know Yeah, so here I have the score. So global score between 0 and 100, 0 very bad, 100 very good. Static aspect. Here, of course, like I write, like at the end, I write some words, so the static aspect is good. Speed, pressure, and tilt. And again, if I click, for example, on speed, I have a lot of sub-scores, so lower level scores. And for example, if I click one, acceleration control, I have the description of the score, one good example, one bad example, how it means, etc., etc. So I have a summary of the handwriting profile here. I have the points to improve. So the point that we think like we need to target the first. And of course, recommended activities for this handwriting profile. So then second step is new activity. So I click in new activity. I have 11 activities for the moment. And you can see at the top of the screen that the activity with a star are the activities that are recommended for this child. So the activity recommended for Anthony, and it's in function of the handwriting analysis that I've done at the beginning. So if we go through the activities so quickly, so the first one is called pursuit. So in this one, we have a lot of prescriptural paths. So we have more than 50. And here the goal is that we have a hot balloon here that we are going to control with the pen. And the child needs to be very precise, needs to stay as close as possible from the blue line. If I'm going out of this white path, I'm losing some balloon and I'm losing some points. And the child will need to be very precise to write very precisely. So it's a game that teaches precision. On the prescriptural path that we have, they are becoming harder and harder. So at the end, I have some loops. I have some it's becoming harder and harder through the level. And for example, the width of the path, it also decreases with the levels. Second activity is called the chemist. So here I have a robot that writes on top. And every time that there is going to be a pen lift, the color of the ink is going to change. So here there are not a lot of pen lifts except for the cross of the T's. And the goal of the child is to copy this word and have the same color as the same place. And if he has the same color at the same place, it means that he lifts the pen at the right size. And we also linked everything with a small game on top. So when I'm writing, at the beginning it's red, I'm pouring some potion into the marmite, as you can see. I lift the pen, it changes the color. I'm pouring another potion, etc., etc. And then the goal at the end, if the child writes correctly, here I'm wrong actually, the potion that is poured has the same color. It means that the child lift the pen at the right moment. Bim. Third game, archaeologists. Here it's a game to train the pressure. So here the goal is to find an object that is hidden in the scene. For example, here it's a small nut that I can find. And the goal of the child is to scratch the surface with the pen in order to find this object. So I'm going to scratch surface to try to find this object. It's here. So I need to remove all the dirt on top of this object. But the problem, if I'm pressing too strong, the object is going to crack. So it teaches to put enough pressure in order to reach the object, but not too much pressure in order to not to break the object. And of course, the range of pressure between I reach the object and I break the object is the range of pressure that is needed into handwriting. And of course, all the objects become more fragile through the levels. Next one, Pizzaiolo. So here it's a newest game. It's going to be released next week. So here it teaches different aspects of handwriting. First, precision, speed, and planification. So here with the pen, again, I'm controlling the small scooter. I need to catch a pizza, like here, and deliver it at a random location. For example, it's here. You can see that there is a timer. So if I don't manage to deliver the pizza on time, like I'm going to lose points. And if I'm going to leave the path, I'm going to lose the pizza. If I'm going to eat a car, I'm going to lose the pizza and lose points. So it also teaches the precision. So the goal, the child get the pizza, he needs to avoid the car, stay on the road, find the best path, and deliver the pizza on time. So that's how it works. For example, here in this game, I have 2 deliveries. So I need to take another pizza and bring it here. On here, like I have maximum number of points since I deliver on time. Next game is called Alphabet. So in this one, you have all the letters, capital, minuscule, and also all the numbers that are already unlocked. I choose small, medium, or large in function of the level of the child. For example, here I'm putting large, let's say. I have the letter that is written with the red dot showing the dynamic of the letter. And the goal of the child is to copy the letter. And if he's very precise, the color of the ink is going to be green, like this one. If he's imprecise, it starts going to be red. And if I'm writing with the wrong dynamic, for example, in the wrong sense, the color of the ink is going to be yellow. So here I teach to write the letter with the right precision, but also with the right direction. Tac. Next one, Submarine. Here it's another game that teaches the control of the pressure. So the change of pressure very smoothly, which is super important to handwriting. So here I have a submarine that is followed by a turtle. As soon as I'm going to connect the pen to the tablet, the submarine will go from left to right by itself. And the depth of the submarine is controlled by the pressure I apply on the pen. So here, the more I press, the submarine goes down. If I press less, the submarine goes up. And the goal of the child is to avoid all the obstacles in order to get the more point possible. And we also hide some little bonus, some turtle eggs into the scene. And every time that you are going to get this object, you are going to save some turtle and get some points. And of course, the level gets more and more complex through the levels. At the end, for example, you are going to need to avoid some moving obstacle. It's going to be in the dark, so like the child cannot anticipate, etc., etc. Next one, Juice, is a game without the pen. So it teaches the finger dexterity and the finger independence. And the goal is that you need to help a robot that is here to create a juice. And for that, there are 3 different tasks that are possible. First task is to pick the fruits. So here I need to pick the orange on the apple. So I need to connect my 2 fingers in this fruit. It's like a twister for the finger. So the robot catches the fruit. Second task, I need to cut the strawberry here. So I put my thumb on the strawberry, my index on the knife, and I need to bring the knife to the strawberry. So it teaches the pinch of the end. On last task, I need to click on the 3 fruits and put them in the mixer. It teaches the grip of the handwriting. Of course, it gets more and more complex through the level. So for example, in this one, I don't need to click on 2 fruits at the same time, but 3 fruits. For here, the pastèque, the pear, and the lemon. And you might wonder what is the electricity button for. And it's an anti-cheat system, because without that, like the scene like goes off. Otherwise, like the child will use his 2 fingers to click on the fruits. And here it forces the child to use only one hand. Next one, Copter, it's to teach the tilt of the pen and the precision of handwriting. And here you need to control an helicopter with the pen. So I'm putting the pen. If I'm going up, the helicopters go up, going down, right, left. So you control it with the tilt of the pen. At the end of the copter, there is a rope that you need to connect to some box. For example, here I'm getting a box. And I need to deliver the box at some location that I've shown by the arrow. And all the game is related with this control. So for example, here I'm doing some very bad control, very not precise at all control. The box is going to balance a lot, it's going to hit obstacle, and every time that it hits an obstacle, it loses points. So here it pushes the child to really control very precisely the copter with some movement that are used in handwriting to put it smoothly on the platform. And when you put it on the platform, it's going to build an house, so the child will need to build a world with this game. And once again, it gets harder and harder. For example, in harder level, the copter is going to be in some cave that are very thin, etc., etc. Next game, flags. So in this one, we have different countries that are sorted by the number of population. You can again choose small, medium, large, according to the proficiency of the child. For example, here I'm putting large. Nigeria, that is written with the font that you choose at the beginning. Again, the red dot shows the dynamic of the handwriting, and the child needs to copy on the model the country that is written. If he is very precise, he's going to get a lot of points. If he's unprecise, or if he writes with the wrong direction, he's going to get less points. So that's like a very simple game. Then apprentice. So this one is a bit special. So there is a robot that is going to write a text. So here is the robot writing. But what the robot writing is very wrong. For example, the A, he did it in the wrong order. The L, like it's not smooth. And the goal is to invert the role. So the child will need to teach the robot how to write. So you can use the model or not. For example, I'm hiding the model here. And the child needs, with his best handwriting, to show the robot how to write. The A, I will writing in the wrong order. The L, better. And for example, here, if I'm doing a shaky L on the shaky A, and I give this information to the robot, let's see what the robot will do. So the P starts to be better. The A, since I write it in the wrong sense, is smoothly changing to the right sense. On the A, the L on the A, since I did it very shaky, like the robot starts to have a shaky handwriting. So the robot copies the style of the child. So here, the child, when he will need to correct the robot, he will need to correct his own handwriting mistakes. So that's a bit the goal of this game. And last game is called Zoo. It's a coloring game. So it's a game that already started. And here, I need to color this animal. I choose the color on the right. Here, I need to color it, and it's linked with the pressure. So if I do it with a low pressure, the width of the color is going to be thin. If I put a lot of pressure, it's going to be very thick. So that's it for the games. One last thing, like we really try to merge the analysis and the remediation. So the goal is that like, the analysis, you can repeat it very frequently, for example, once every 2 weeks, and the recommended exercise are going to change. Also, all the exercises that we have, we co-develop them with some therapists. So every time that like a therapist has a new idea, for example, if you decide to use the app, if you have a new idea, don't hesitate to tell us. We try to release one new version of the app per month with some improvement in the game, with some new games, with improvement in general app. So it's what we are trying to do with the app. So that's it for me. I don't know if you have some question about the games, the app, or in general.
Thank you, Thibault. I think we don't have any questions. We let 5 seconds. How many it cost?
Yes, so the price depends on the number of children that you are using in the app. And the basic price is 2 francs per child per month. But we are giving some discount because we really want the therapists to help us continue to improve the game. So with the discount that we propose, it's 1 franc per child per month. So it's a 50% discount.
Forse posso tradurre in italiano. Sono 2 franchi al mese per ogni bambino registrato, però se il programma viene aggiornato e migliorato regolarmente sulla base dei feedback dei terapisti. Quindi se voi partecipate dando dei feedback, vi fanno uno sconto e sarà un franco a bambino registrato al mese. E la matita è una matita che si compra negli Apple Store, però se voi appunto contribuite a sviluppare la app, avete la matita a un prezzo preferenziale passando da loro, da School Rebound. La deuxième question, c'était sur le crayon, c'est pour ça. Alors, j'ai déjà répondu parce que c'est la même qu'avant.
Yes.
Altre domande? Va bene, Stefanie? Apparentemente sì. Sì, perfetto. Bene. Se non ci sono altre domande, ringrazio Thibault. S'il n'y a pas d'autres questions, merci Thibault. Thank you.
Merci à vous pour l'invitation.
Et poi...
Et puis, n'hésitez pas à me contacter si vous avez des questions ou des points qui ne sont pas clairs. Surtout, n'hésitez pas.